Good morning, sophomores. We are going to be completing your graduation checklist for your 2015-2016 CAP process. So let's get started. You will see in your course guides a copy of the Bentonville High School graduation requirements. This is located on page 5. I wanted to point out there are listed BHS requirements and SMART Core requirements. One thing that the juniors found a little confusing yesterday is that they could pick either BHS or SMART Core, and that's not true. No matter what, you have to complete everything on the BHS checklist. SMART Core is in addition to the BHS checklist, or at least within math and science particular courses. And so we're going to cover that on the actual checklist. So if you will turn in your course guide to page 84, that is where the checklist is located. It looks different this year than last year. Hopefully this form is a little more user-friendly for you. Everything on the checklist must be completed. You'll notice in the areas of mathematics, there is a difference for SMART Core versus the BHS and Arkansas General Academic Core. There's a difference with the mathematics that you have to take. And then also in science, there are different choices. You will either complete SMART Core Sciences or you will complete the General BHS Core. Everything else on the checklist, everyone must complete. This is an example of a BHS transcript. You should have your transcript in front of you. The transcript that we are using today is actually a modified transcript from a former graduate here that I wanted to use to show you how a recovered credit would look if you happen to have one of those on your transcript. And so your transcript over in the credit column for your sophomore year should have credits listed just as this one does in the freshman column. This one does not because I have modified it a little bit so that you couldn't see that part. So we're going to start with English. 4 years of English are required at Bentonville High School to graduate. This student had freshman English and made a B both semesters, so we would put a B in each of the blanks. For each semester there is a blank, or for each half credit there is a blank, because half credit courses are semester-long courses. For English 2, this student completed sophomore year, the first semester, the semester we just finished, English 2, and made a B in the course, and they would be, because English 2 is a year-long course, enrolled in a second semester course right now, and they have not yet earned credit, but they are enrolled, so we're going to put a placeholder for spring just to indicate that the student is working towards that credit. Next year, the student will need to complete 11th grade English, and then the following year, 12th grade English. So this student has 1.5 credits of English currently, is working on their half credit to make that 2 credits, and then still has 2 credits remaining. For mathematics, this student completed Algebra 1 in 9th grade and made a D both semesters. We are going to start for all sophomores on SMART Core. So if you're a sophomore right now, do not fill in the bottom just yet. We are going to make sure everyone is on the SMART Core path at least until you're registering for junior year, which is kind of where you'll make the choice if you're going to be SMART Core or not, and I will explain that in just a minute. This student, and this is the example that I wanted to show you about a recovered credit, completed geometry first semester and must have failed geometry and needed to recover the credit. If you have an RC on your transcript, that stands for recovered credit. If you have an NC, that stands for no credit. So you either had a credit pulled or if it's a junior high school credit, you may have an NC there if you repeated that credit later. Um, this student did recover credit for Geometry A. That would be a first semester geometry course, and they made a C in that course. And so when that C was posted, the registrars went back and added an RC in the place of the F so that the F no longer counts against the student in GPA. So we are going to put the C in the credit checklist, not the RC. We want the actual grade that's counting for the student's GPA listed in the credit checklist. The student is currently in geometry. There's a second semester geometry listed, and so since geometry is a year-long course, we're going to put SP that they're working on it. And then next year, based on what this student's teacher recommends for them. So this student is a struggling mathematics student. They have a D in Algebra 1. It looks like they failed and had to recover credit for geometry. So this student might be recommended for the course called Bridge to Algebra 2, in which case they would not be SMART Core and they would complete BHS requirements instead, because their third math would be Bridge to Algebra 2 and their fourth math is going to be Algebra 2 instead of a fourth math beyond Algebra 2. So that's going to move this fourth math down to the bottom. So the student would not be SMART Core. They would be completing a BHS regular general diploma. Science. Science is the other subject area where there are specific courses that must be taken to complete the SMART Core requirements. So this student has had biology. Both SMART Core and general BHS requirements require biology. They're in biology first semester of sophomore year, so they're going to earn a D. Biology is a year-long course, so they are currently enrolled in that course and working towards that credit. If we look back at freshman year, there is a physical science. They earned a C first semester and a B second semester, so we'll fill that one in. Now the student can take, based on what their teacher is recommending for them, to be SMART Core, they have to take junior year or senior year. It can be either year, either chemistry or physics, but to meet just general BHS requirements, they can take a third science from a wide selection of sciences: zoology, botany, geology, environmental science, anatomy and physiology. All of those courses count as science classes, but not SMART Core science classes. So if this student was recommended for a SMART Core class, we would complete the checklist up here. If they were completing one of those other life science classes like zoology or botany, they would complete the checklist at the bottom. Then they don't have to take both chemistry and physics unless you have not had a physical science. That's the only reason for SMART Core, that you would have to take both chemistry and physics. So the student can choose either one to complete SMART Core. Or they can choose that third science again to complete the general requirements. Social Studies. The student is currently enrolled in World History and they earned a C first semester. That is a year-long course, so they are working towards that credit right now for the second semester. They had Civics as a freshman, and then they will need complete U.S. History as a junior and Government and Economics as a senior. Other graduation requirements: Oral Comm they've completed with a B, PE they've completed with a B. Fine Arts, the student has several fine arts classes. In this case, Advanced Women's Choir 9, they made an A. And then we're going to use this second half of 9th grade Women's Choir as an elective. The student does not have PE on their transcript, however, so they will need to complete a PE course next year or as a senior. Practical arts, the student has had several practical arts, including CA and yearbook, since they've had yearbook and it's a year-long course. I'm just going to put that one. And remember, each blank is for half a credit or a semester, and so we're going to break this up into 2 lines because yearbook is a year-long course. Okay, so to complete the electives, it's anything remaining on the transcript that we've not already allocated to another subject area. So we've done English classes, science classes, math classes, history classes, and also our 4 health, oral comm. They've not yet had PE, and then fine arts. And then for practical arts, they had yearbook, so everything that's remaining would be considered an academic elective. Notice that on this one for retailing, there's not a grade. That means the student is currently enrolled in that class, and so we are going to add that to these electives, but we're going to put the placeholder for spring in the grade spot. So they made an A for second semester in advanced women's choir, an A in CA1, a C in theatrical makeup, an A in concert choir women fall. They're currently enrolled in retailing and currently enrolled in concert choir. Sorry, I skipped that one. It's not here, but choir is a year-long course, so they are currently enrolled in that course. Again, retailing is in the spring, and then a B in housing and interior design. So this student has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blanks remaining. I've circled for 4 of the blanks for junior year and 2 of the blanks for senior year, and I will show you why on the next slide. This is what the student has remaining. If we look back over all of those red circles that I made for the classes that were remaining for junior year, they still need 2 credits of English, so they'll have English 3 junior year and English 4 senior year, 2 credits of math, and they need to choose based on teacher recommendations and what they feel confident taking a 3rd math. Algebra 2 is SMART Core, Bridge to Algebra 2 is not. If they choose Algebra 2 as a junior, they'll go one beyond Algebra 2 as a senior and be SMART Core. If they take Bridge next year, then they will take Algebra 2 as a senior and not be SMART Core. Science, they've got 1 credit remaining. If they take chemistry or physics, they'll be SMART Core. If they take another science class, they will not be SMART Core. And then they actually will not have any science remaining for senior year, but may take one as an elective. Social studies, they have 2 credits left, U.S. history and government and economics. They still have PE remaining, and then they have completed practical arts, and then 3 credits worth of electives. There were 6 half credit blanks remaining on electives, which is 3 total credits. So this student next year, you have to register for 7 classes, 7 credits. So English 1 would be 1, math would be 2, science would be 3, history would be 4, and PE would be a half. So with the core classes, there's 4.5 credits here. So the student has to take 2.5 academic credits next year of electives to have a full schedule. And then senior year, they'll have 1 with English, 2 credits with math, 3 credits with government and economics, which are each semester courses. They'll have a half credit remaining to make this 3 electives complete, and so they'll be at 3.5. So this student actually will have a little wiggle room to take 3.5 more academic or non-academic credits of their choice. Okay, now we're going to look. Okay, now for the optional recognitions. Those are on page 85. You do not have to complete this checklist, but it may be helpful for you to complete to know if you are on track to be a focus area completer or an honors graduate. The focus areas are on page 14 through 16 in the course guide, and here's an example of what one looks like. You would just complete the areas listed, our student had completed Computer Applications 1 for half credit in the fall. Um, then we would then you would mark off that area and then move on to your remaining credits.